organizations that lose new employees within the first year. 82%, the improved retention with strong onboarding processes. $4,000, the average cost to hire a new employee. And 24 days, the average time to bring someone up to speed and to get someone into a job in a new company.
Dave, you've gone on mute.
Great. I'm back now, am I? We're here to address the problem statement, which is how do we create virtual training materials for people from a variety of backgrounds and make them feel included and represented in that material. Looking at the market to understand if there was an opportunity, we've identified that 74% of companies plan to permanently shift to more remote work post-COVID-19. 19.6% is the expected return for learning management systems and growth in the market by 2023. And 77% of businesses confirm that remote work lowers their operating costs. To try and make it real, we identified a user. Our persona is Remote Ramona. She's a new hire. English is not her mother tongue, and she's looking to get up to speed in a new job. She's 28, from Madrid, and works in customer services. Her goals include feeling confident in her skill level, easy access to training, and feeling connected with her team. But her pain points include the fact that English isn't her first language and is hard to understand. Getting through it takes a long time, onboarding and training. It can be hard to connect across a screen. And just to be honest, she's just sitting alone at a computer. She feels disengaged and unmotivated. So what is our solution, and how do we propose to make Remote Ramona's life that bit easier? We are Trainimator. We are creating a training platform which helps companies operating internationally. Our solution addresses the problem of disengaged and excluded employees, helping to drive staff retention, empowerment, and productivity. So what is our solution? Our solution is a learning management software that brings together a user-friendly interface with unique and helpful engaging features such as automated translation, animation made easy, and personalized avatars. Companies who are looking to create their own bespoke training material can begin with blank templates and use animation, or use a pre-selected version of templates that we've created, including office, whiteboard, meeting, outdoor, various settings by which to make a more interactive and engaging training experience. Where our product really stands out is the ability to customize at the point of content creation features such as the characters being used, their gender, their skin color, and indeed to be able to include personalized avatars of the individuals themselves. So a cartoon of your user in the video to try and make it more real and more engaging. The text that's input will then be translated at the point of content creation into any of the languages for the different markets required. What we've noticed is that lots of other companies have features, but we feel that we bring together a unique feature set that adds value and addresses a niche. We anticipate that we would roll this out in a tiered monthly subscription service, ranging from a basic to a more advanced package, as well as providing templates for users who are interested in specific training materials such as GDPR, sales, or onboarding. The team we bring together covers different disciplines with unique skills but a complementary skill set, and we're ambitious to take this idea from a concept in a hackathon and to try and validate it in the market and prove that this could be a real value and a game changer for medium and large enterprises. What next? We would like to take this idea forward to market validation and product development, and ultimately develop a sales pipeline, leveraging the great mentors and network from groups such as Hackathon itself here. And we've identified potential features that could be in a backlog, including inclusivity scoring, cultural templates, and bias detection. No time to go into that now, but just to say, factors that would show people at the point of content creation how to be more inclusive with their content.
Ring the bell.
I did. I rang it. Okay. Nice work. A little bit over. We forgive you. So judges, you have 5 minutes now to ask any questions that you have of team 2.
So Dave, this is Vince Coley. I would say you have an excellent opening with a great problem statement. Question. We are all disengaged whether we are virtual or in person. We all do daydreaming. I do daydreaming 99% in my life. Just kidding. The question here is, how do you think animation can engage and have more attention span?
Yeah, so to begin, I think that's something that we can all identify with. And only yesterday, reading on LinkedIn about Zoom fatigue, I think virtual engagement is a challenge. I'm not saying that we can solve all of that with our approach here, but what we're trying to do is to try and find more engaging ways. So, for instance, a personalized avatar, one of the ambitions that we would love to add and to kind of have as a consideration overall is gamification and more interactive methods such as quizzes and interactive scenarios where people find information, the Where's Waldo of company learning as such. I don't think, though, overall that this would actually solve the problem of engagement, but I think that given the kind of environment we look at in the moment, in which more people are onboarding virtually, that this could at least help.
Thank you.
Hi, Dave. It's Claire here from Axonista. How are you?
Hi.
Good. Great first pitch. It's always hard to go first. This is a problem that a lot of businesses are having. I mean, since we went into complete lockdown, I have 3 or 4 people on my team that I haven't met. Some of them are in different countries. Some of them are here, which is super weird. So it is a really nice thing to really think about inclusiveness from the get-go and the graphics, and I really like that. I would like to know what your thought process was on your pricing model and how you came up with that.
Okay. Yeah, so to begin, I guess it's to state that this is something that we'd like to further validate. I think from looking at the competitor analysis, so there was a bunch of platforms in the learning management software sphere, a term I just learned myself, but companies offering creative ways for people to make content, so without having to hire out an agency. I think what we notice across these companies is that they tended to have a tiered model. So whether it be that you give people a free trial and then they could have additional features, or that you'd have these different price points, I think we'd have to validate that idea of what would separate one tier from another. But I think as we look at, say, small, medium enterprises here, the idea, say, of one content creator in a company of 50 people, or a company with thousands of people and people in different geographies, trying to find a way that we could identify the services that would maybe bring them up those price points. We've begun with estimates based on what we saw in the market for now,
though. Alan here, if it's okay with the other judges. Kind of a follow on, Claire gave you an example, I suppose, of her company feeling this pain. I'm interested in your validation of where this pain is. Were you able to talk to businesses? Were you able to engage with people? Because as you pointed out, there's a whole learning management system environment out there. There are hundreds of them. There's probably a dozen of them in Ireland alone. So where have you been validating that this problem is different and needs to be solved and gives you freedom to operate?
Yeah, I think that's a good point. And, it really hits home on something that we'd like to do a lot more work on. I think what we were able to do in the time frame we had was to look at the kind of the general market, some of the challenges, and then understand and validate, or at least bring some evidence around the context of it being hard to engage online. I think we would need to do more market research around the differentiation. I think from our perspective, we're able to say, look, we could bring these different features, but I think we're keen to work with organizations and groups, do more user research and get some survey results to say if the differentiation, at least we've anticipated at the moment, is something that, I guess from a startup perspective, people are willing to put money behind. We did attempt to create a survey as part of the hackathon, but unfortunately we were very low on reviews or responses, so we just haven't included that at the moment, but it's something we're keen to take forward.
You guys have 30 seconds left if a judge has a very short yes/no question. Great. Cool.
Well done.
Cool. Thank you.
Thank you, team 2. Everybody will clap. This is the sad part we found, is that clapping on mute is very depressing. All right.
But you have to do it though, because it's recorded.
Yeah. So team 3, Colm is going to be presenting for team 3. So Colm, go ahead and share your screen. Give the judges a moment to take any notes that they need. All right,
Okay,
you have 4 minutes.
Okay. Thank you. We're KnowledgeBump, and we're a solution to student online engagement. I want you to think back to your student days. What do you remember about study? The key thing is most students don't study alone, but now they have to because of COVID-19. What's the scale of the problem? There's over 28,000 third-level colleges in the world. There's 20 million on-campus third-level students. There's another 6 million who are already studying online. And when we looked into that, because we actually surveyed before this started, we did a survey and sent a survey out. 50% of people we surveyed said it was more challenging to study online than it was to study in person. The lack of face-to-face peer support was a recurring theme. And a worst case scenario here is if you look at MOOCs, the massive online, I always forget what the second O is, courses, it's between 5 and 15% completion rate. Colleges can't tolerate that amount of a dropout rate. So we are KnowledgeBump. For students who have been cut off from peer learning support networks, we provide online study groups to help their learning performance. But not only that. For colleges who have seen their student learning performances slip during COVID-19 due to decreased student engagement, we provide online study groups to help boost the performance of their courses. And our initial target market will be universities in Ireland, because after all, it's universities that are likely to pay, not necessarily the students who don't have money. So how does this work? KnowledgeBump is a virtual study group platform. It's a plugin that is integrated with the existing student learning platforms. Blackboard and Moodle are two of the most common ones in Ireland. We're not suggesting we're going to replace those. We're going to be a plugin that works with and on top of those. It works on mobile and desktop. So just guide you through the experience and the solution. So a student will come along and will click on will open up their app on their phone, or it could be on their tablet or on their PC as well. And they will see a list of their subjects, their groups, their notifications that they're in. They select one of the groups and they go in and they say, right, I want to take part in a live discussion right now about one of my subject areas. So management strategy is a subject area. They can go in, they now see a live chat board, they can participate in the audio chat, and they can participate in the video chat. And it might be as simple as simply sitting in a group and being able to bounce questions off each other as they come up. Or it might be like sitting in a library and you just sit, you're not talking, but you're conscious that people are watching you and engaged with you. And some people need that environment. So knowledge base allows students to connect as a class or a group, because human beings are social creatures. We need that mutual support and help. Improved learning performance will come out of that, and improved mental well-being, and it's improved course outcomes for the university. We've estimated our costs and our revenue. I'm not going to go into that now, but if you want it later on, we can share that information. We're estimating small losses in year 1, some of which will be offset by government support. We estimate we'll break even in year 2, and we're estimating pre-tax profits in year 3 of over 4 million, because we will have 1 million users. What are the phases? Well, phase 1, we're going to develop a solution and roll out to Irish universities. We're going to then, in phase 2, we're going to widen that out to UK and other learning institutions. And in phase 3, we hope to go worldwide. This is the team. We're a team with extensive experience in business, startups, user experience, etc. And we have all taken or given online courses. So thank you, and we welcome your questions.
Nice, great timing. All right, judges, you have 5 minutes. The floor is yours.
I've got a quick question. What market research did you do? Did you talk to colleges or universities?
We spoke initially to sent out a survey to our social network group, a lot of whom have actually done courses. So we actually surveyed the students to come up with the idea of what the problem here was. And then after that, actually, as part of the mentoring session here, we had 2 mentors who both teach in colleges, and straight away before we even started giving advice, I said, we would buy this, okay? Last night as well, I spoke to a friend of mine who teaches in a local college in Waterford Institute of Technology, and ran this idea by her, and she said straight away, yes, they would buy this.
Can I come in off the back of that one? Is that okay?
Oh, sorry, Peter, you go.
Sorry, and just to qualify, Colin,
Okay.
I used to be a university lecturer before I sold my soul to management consulting, and one of the biggest things I found was you just can't keep kids on topic. So like, you know, I love the simplicity of the solution because it's like a plug-in, but who moderates it? Like who, like, I know we should self-moderate, especially at a university level, but did you give any thought to how do you stop the chat about management consulting becoming, you know, what's going on in Phoenix Park today?
I think if you think back, I'm thinking back to my time in college, and I remember I used to sit down with my class around the big round tables in University of Limerick. I don't know if there's any graduates here from UL back about 20 years ago, but in the canteen, you had these big, huge round tables. And it was self-moderation. We sat down, we studied together, we worked on projects together. There will be an element of that, but that's where actually having these groups that are linked through Blackboard or linked through Moodle, it will be your classmates who will be on that. Will there be a wider version? We would see down the line, we may have groups where we would have it open to anybody somebody who's doing a MOOC by themselves. They want to join that course, they can do that. But at that point, we would be looking to staff up, and that's included in the revenues. We would have more staff. So we may have to get into content moderation at that point, but for the first 2 or 3 years, we're not there.
Cool. Good answer, thank you.
Good question
as well. It's more related to sort of the data that you mentioned towards the end with increased happiness and then ultimately sort of increased grade for universities as well. I think on the premise of the 4 lines that I read there, it seems like a no-brainer, but I'm curious to know what kind of data is backing that up and whether you have sort of any quantitatives on like how much well-being does that increase and also how much grade that would increase. Because if you can make the business case, then the ROI is clear for the university.
It is certainly something. There's ongoing studies about this, and we looked online. There's a lot of different studies, and some of them give conflicting numbers. The most stark one we saw was the MOOCs, where people are only completing that at 5 to 15% of people who sign up for these courses. So there's 85 to 95% are dropping out. That's the most stark. Look, there's a lot of discussion going on at the moment about what is the impact, but we are seeing the colleges and a lot of papers are being published right now to say there is an impact. It just hasn't been quantified yet, but we do believe from what we've said and what we've read online, there is an impact. But that certainly is something that we would have to get that additional statistical background to be able to go out to the universities, because universities love statistics. So,
thank you.
Can I ask? It's pretty strong statement to say, you know, you'll come back to revenue and if we want to talk about it, but then you dropped in that you get to 4 million profit and 1 million users. So discuss. Tell us about the business model.
I can share, if you want here, I can share the actual spreadsheet. I know we, Caitlin, how long do we have left?
No, not a spreadsheet, I'd say at this point. Talk us through the highlights of
okay, I'll talk you through it. So basically what we're looking at is we've looked at the staff costs and all the overheads. We're talking about costs and overall costs, operating costs for the first 12 months of 397,400. In year 2, because we ramp up the number of staff to meet with the increased number of people, that rises to 1.6 million. And in year 3, when we've really got worldwide traction, that rises to 4.5 million. On the income side of that, we're looking at, in year 1, income of about 507,000, but we're saying a big chunk of that, about 160,000, will come from advertising and grants, particularly a big chunk from Leo grants and Enterprise Ireland grants. In year 2, the income rises to 1.7 million, and then in year 3, we're looking at income of about 8 million, because we're looking at about 1 million users. We pitched our average cost at about 10 euros. It's 10 euros per annum per person, but because we will be offering group discounts for colleges to sign in with all their students, that would come down. So it comes down an average user price of about 8.5 euros. I hope that clarifies it. That's a very quick run through.
Nice.